I remember a couple of years ago, I was meeting a potential client in a beer garden of all places. It's the very first time we'd ever met. And we got chatting about work because that was the sort of the basis of our conversation. And I very quickly noticed that whenever he spoke about work, he was very measured and considered in everything he said. And he was speaking like that. It was quite stilted. It was quite hard to follow. I was like, come on, hurry up, say the words. And then in and out of the conversation, he mentioned his kids, and I saw just a little change, a little flash. So after about 10 minutes of us chatting back and forth, I said, mate, tell me a bit more about your kids and this little recent adventure you went on. And he started talking about these fields that they were crossing and how they came across a stream and how they needed to ford this stream and how they started building a dam, and then he carried them on his shoulders and he was a Viking with a big stick. And it was an absolute transformation in front of my very eyes. He literally grew in stature, his voice got deeper, there was energy and life in his eyes, and it was quite a startling transformation. And I said, mate, you realise that I've seen two very distinct sides of your character today. Like, what's going on there? Talk to me about it. Why do you tone yourself down so much? Assuming that the excited side was more natural. Why do you tone yourself down so much for work? And first off, he hadn't realised quite how obvious the shift was and how noticeable it was for other people. But secondly, he was aware of it because he did it deliberately. He'd had feedback from his sort of co-founder, fellow business owner, whatever he was, that when he got a bit excited, he could actually intimidate some clients. He could be a bit scary because he's a big guy. He's like 6'4", big frame, naturally deep voice. And by this point, I'd already met this other guy, and I realised that actually that was a him thing. He was projecting his fears onto the guy I was talking to. And I was like, have you ever considered how much of your natural energy and value and enthusiasm you are depriving of the world by muting it based off an incorrect assumption, based on a fear of somebody else's, not even yours? And it was something really interesting for him to think about. And I suppose my invitation to you is to think about the same thing. If this video resonates or this story resonates, maybe it's because that subconsciously you are muting a side of your personality for a fear that might not actually exist. I know that for years when I was in Australia, I incorrectly assumed that the playful side of me, the sort of the idiot with a sense of humour, wasn't really welcomed in this sort of very serious mining corporate world. So I toned it right down. As a result, I lost a lot of my spark and my value. So if this does resonate, ask yourself, are you doing the same thing? And what might the impact be? What are you depriving yourself of? What are you depriving the world of? And if you could let it out, what difference would that make?